This machine has shown up in some of my videos. I think I might have even mentioned it briefly in my computer setup video, but I've never actually made its own video. It's never made it into a video on its own. Well, that is going to change, because we're going to make a video of it right now, and it will eventually be getting another video because my plan is to install a hard drive in here. It's a dual floppy machine, and although it would be kind of nice to keep it original, if I want dual floppy, I've got that unit. So having a hard drive in it would be a lot more beneficial than just having the dual floppy. This is a pretty generic machine. There's not really a whole lot special about it. It looks like an IBM PC, because that's basically what it is, although it's actually more like an XT. Data 640K personal computer. It's actually manufactured by a company called XOR Data Systems, or XDS, or I think it's XOR Data Science, I think is the company. It will show up when I go ahead and power the machine on. But it's a dual floppy, and they are both high density, I believe. I believe that these are high density. There's not really much to see on either of these disks. One of them is a boot disk, and the other one is a test. Oh no, these are double density. So maybe it's not actually a high density drive. I'm not sure. I thought they were high density. There's no star on them or anything like that. But then again, that's not really a determining factor for a lot of things. There's nothing else really on the front. This is the original keyboard. The story behind the machine is more interesting than the machine itself. This was used to drive a David W. Mann 1600, PG 1600 photomask pattern generator in the microfabrication facility at work. And it was used in that role until 2018, when I took it out of service in favor of a 486. Yes, really, there's a 486 there, and as far as I know, it's still running there to this day. They have not retired it yet, although I've mentioned that if they do retire it, I kind of want it. So, we'll see. I'll get the internet equipment out of the way, and I'm going to get the CRT off of it. Try and clean it up. This was used in a clean room environment, but of course it's been here for so long, and of course it's sat in storage for a little bit because I couldn't take it right away because it had to be used as a spare for at least a little while. So there's some dirt and things on it, and this is not the monitor that was used with it, although the monitor that was used with it I think was an identical monitor. Unfortunately that got pitched. I did not get to save that. Alright, this machine is very interesting in the way that it opens. Just briefly show the back of it here. Here's where the keyboard, the monitor goes in on the side, and of course it has the standard power supply, but this actually opens. So I don't know that I can do this with one hand. Yeah, I don't think I can. This opens like the hood of a car. So go ahead and pop it open here. I'll probably break something in the process, but you can have a look inside of the machine. Now, I could, and I might, because I do have an extra Seagate ST225 sitting around, but I could install a hard drive in here, and it just wouldn't have a faceplate. So it wouldn't have any lights when it's accessing and things, which might be a little annoying, but the flip side is, who cares? 640 kilobytes of RAM installed on the system board. And of course, here is the video, and this is also a parallel port. This does not have a serial port on it. Might be kind of tempting to add one, but I don't really need that. I'm not really sure which monographics this is. If this is a Hercules board or not, because it doesn't really say on it anywhere what exactly it is. It is TTL. It might even be CGA, but I don't believe that it is. And this is the floppy controller. I think there's no serial port, unless there's one on the back here. No. This is just a floppy. This doesn't do anything else, and that might even be an original IBM part, although this isn't an IBM computer. The power supply, I don't think has any ratings on it. Oh, well, it does, but I'm not going to be able to read that sticker. So. The other interesting thing about this is this wasn't original to the photomask pattern generator system either. That originally would have been a digital equipment PDP-8 mainframe, and in fact the PDP-8 sort of console, I guess you would say, but the rack that the PDP-8 would have been in is still there. This was just placed on top of it. So, kind of too bad that the PDP-8 wasn't still there. That would have kind of been nice to have. So JP6, JP7, I thought those were labeled with something, but they're not. So I'm not really sure. There's a DTK motherboard, PIM-Turbo from 1985, PIM-640. So now we know who actually manufactured the board, at least the BIOS for the board. It's an 8 megahertz system. Well, who manufactured the board, not who manufactured the system unit. So when we'll close that, you can see just how clean it is, too. You'll never find another one that's this clean. Because they don't exist. So, I'm going to have to plug that monitor back in, and then we'll get this thing powered on. Here's something interesting going on this Packard Bell monitor. I'm not really sure what this is, because I don't think it was like that all the time. So that's kind of interesting. The monitor is on. All I should have to do is flip the big red switch on the side of the computer, which is now on. There you go. XOR Data Science 1985 Turbo XT version 2.0. And it has now booted. PC-DOS version 3.3. There's not really much to see on this. It's literally just command.com and the pattern generator program, which won't do much because the card that it needs is not installed. There would have been a GPIO card. So it just immediately bombs out. And we can't even see what it said. Well, I'll make a freeze frame or something. I believe the B drive has problems. If I remember right, there are problems with the B drive. So it'll probably need to have the heads cleaned and lubricated. Yeah, see? So there it goes. Let's try and get that wide so I can see. See if it'll actually read that file. Nope, probably not. So, Oh well, it will need some work. So again, that's probably the drive that's going to come out of here. Of course, it also, who knows if this disk is any good. Going out of DOS version 3. Feels kind of dirty to be putting that into a non-core data system. Oh, Control-Alt-Delete. Where's the delete key on this keyboard? Does it have one? You know, oh, it does. Control-Alt and then delete. See if it'll actually boot this, because this isn't a core data system. DOS 3.1. Yeah, this floppy drive seems like it's working fairly well. So, what is this disk? Is this the bad one that I was just... Yes. Let's see what that does. Sector not found reading drive A. Well, maybe the floppy drive has a problem. Maybe they both have a problem. Okay. Well, you know what? I don't know. If I run the Park program, what does it do? Yeah, I think these drives both need some attention. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to close the video with that. It's just an initial look at the machine. So not really all that interesting. My camera is almost out of battery anyway, so we'll go ahead and we'll shut it down. Stay tuned. There will be more at some point, but I don't know when right now.